Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Discover a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
Hey, it's me, Tyler. Bose open earbuds are stylish. The color, the way it looks almost like an earring, you know? So I feel like it could go with anything. My style is very fun. I feel like I always look like I'm on holiday. I just really like playing around with it and tying it to the music. So yeah, I really feel like the music I'm making right now feels like a holiday, so I want to look like it too. Check out Bose.com for more.
Listen in. Starbucks. It's a great day for coffee.
Hi, welcome to Don't Blame Me.
Hi.
An amazing podcast starring two people who definitely got so much sleep last night, are feeling, first of all, Melissa's going to crash at some point. We don't know when it's going to happen.
I have a thing to go to the night.
No,
so,
I know.
this is going to be fun.
I think you'll just get, it'll probably be good because I think you'll get to like the delirious loopy side before you like by the time that you're like going to your thing tonight. And I think you'll be able to ride that wave, but I am worried about your tomorrow.
I was playing, never mind. I used to not have things on Wednesday, but now we record Candace's podcast on Wednesday. So I was planning on doing some boxing before, and I probably won't.
I wouldn't.
Yep.
I wouldn't do that. Yeah, we both independently, for no reason. Nope, that's a lie. There's a reason. We both stayed up till 4:30 because we both fucked up. When did you fuck up your hair washing routine?
I was planning to do it on Sunday. No. Wait. No, the thing is, I had so much stuff to do this weekend. So Saturday, can I tell this story quick and then we get back to it?
Yeah.
Okay, so Saturday I went to the Dodgers game.
Oh, yeah, I saw. Moss was jealous because he kept being like, Megan, we gotta go to Dodgers game. And I was like, maybe. And then he saw you go. And then he was like, and I was like, well, there you go. It has some Melissa seal of approval. I guess I feel safe enough going.
I have my mask on too.
No, I saw.
Yeah. So as I'm walking up, well, actually leaving my car, I've left my car and I'm just like a row up as I'm walking to the stadium. I turn around and I see a man's penis.
Oh, no.
And he's peeing.
Oh, okay.
But between cars, but didn't open the car door, so it was blocking.
Sure. Have you never peed on a
And
freeway
what if I was
overpass?
a child? Then you would have gotten a child sex offender if they call the cops. Yeah. So this was just like
Upon arrival.
Yes.
Pee. Like, I get the desperation. You're drunk afterwards and like you pee and like, but no. Like, it hasn't started.
Yeah.
The night is young.
So then I get up to the stadium and I'm like, hey, I need to, what's the fastest way to get to like this? Because it says that mine is on the right side. My entrance is on the right side. But like, how far is that away from if I go? Because it looked like from the ticket, I was like, this is the left entrance. And then if you're watching, and then I was like, I think it's just like around the corner.
Yeah.
And the woman's like, no, you have to walk all the way around. So I was like, okay, whatever. So I get in line. And I'm there, and then I get up to the front, and the guy's like, your purse is too big. And I didn't know that you have to have your purse a certain size. I haven't been to a Dodgers game in a long time.
It's a certain size or clear, right?
Or clear. And I didn't know that. And it was also a small purse.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't big. And I was like, God damn it. And so then I had to walk all the way back to my car, put my purse in, then get back up to the front and go inside. And we were on field level, and there's no signs telling how to get to the field level in Dodger Stadium at all. I asked 3 people that worked there. No one knew. I was like,
okay.
And then I finally asked a police officer, and they knew how to get down there. So I had to take the stairs down 3 levels, finally get there. Like, this is all taking me an extra hour.
Oh my God. I would go home.
I really wanted to, but like I hadn't seen that friend in over a year. And so I got inside. if I wasn't seeing her, then I would have definitely gone
If you were
home.
meeting me there, we both been like,
Yeah,
I'm out.
I'm out. Yeah. So I got inside and I get to where the seats are and I said, hey, I'm here. I waved to her. I said, I'm so hungry now because I've probably walked more than I have in weeks, months. So I go get in line. I was like, all I want is a Dodger dog.
Mm-hmm. Garlic fries?
They didn't have it in the area that I was in. So I wait in line for a long time because the line was extra long, of course. It was in the pavilion area where they have like the different restaurants set up. So I go. By the time I get to the front of the line, order my Dodger dog. We're out of Dodger dogs. We don't have buns.
You have one job. Oh, okay. Are you going to get it without a bun? Oh.
I know. I was planning this the whole day. I was like, I know that my stomach's going to be rock hard, but I'm fine. We don't have buns.
Raw dog it.
There was no sign up saying they didn't have any. They didn't announce it. And there was only one other food item on the thing, which was the nachos, which are disgusting.
They're like movie theater nachos.
Yeah, exactly. And $20 because they're in that little hat that, what am I going to do? Go to the bathroom and wash this out?
Eat cereal out of it.
So I get back to my seat, just
devastated,
tired, hungry.
Yeah, that's awful.
Yeah. And then after the game, I was like, okay, I have to walk all the way like around to this other side. By the time I walk around and I get back to the other side, I realized that it's the same gate that I was standing next to begin with when I said bye to my friends. So that woman that had told me I had to walk around, I didn't have to. It was that gate. It was just like a different angle so you couldn't see it.
That's cruel.
I'm still not done though.
Oh my God, you had such a day.
So then
Instagram really is a highlight reel.
Yeah, I get to my car. They have no one directing traffic to get out.
No, that's not allowed.
It takes me 45 minutes just to get out of my parking lot.
Yeah.
Oh, also, before I even got to my car, I made eye contact with the pee man again as I was walking to my car. Like he was at his car where I saw him peeing. We made eye contact. It was awkward.
Oh, God. I've seen your dick.
Yeah. Then I get to the car and I sit there 45 minutes just to get out the parking spot. Another like 30 minutes. Well, while I'm sitting there, I get a notification that says, Spectrum, there's an outage at home.
So get excited to rush home without your fucking Wi-Fi.
Exactly. So it takes me an hour and a half to get, once I get out the parking lot, only takes me 20 minutes to get home.
Yeah.
But sitting there, hour and a half, I get home, Spectrum's out. I'm like, I guess I'll go to sleep. Nothing else to do because I can't watch TV.
Did you eat?
Yes, I did eat.
Okay,
I did eat.
This story's making me hungry.
Okay, so 3:00 rolls around. I get hot as I usually do, but this is different because I had turned my air conditioner like extra down, and I took a gummy earlier because I was like, I need to relax. This has been a stressful day. Took a gummy. 3:00, I hear this beep. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And then my lights all come on. So I guess the electricity had went out at some point in the night, and that's why it was hot. But since all my lights are hooked up to my Alexa, they flash because they have to reconnect to the Alexa. So every light that I have connected, so my bedroom light, office light, the lamp, and then the lamp that's in my living room, all flashing, and I'm high.
This is awful.
This is the most awful story ever. So I have to get up delirious, and then I had to pee. So I had to go pee first while all this flashing is going on.
You're in a rave.
Covering my eyes, hot because the air had been off. And then I had to I couldn't even say Alexa, turn off all the lights. Wait, Alexa, turn the light back on. I couldn't say that because they had to reconnect to it.
Oh my God.
So I had to go light by light and turn everyone off while I'm delirious, high, and naked.
High and sweaty is actually cruel.
Uh-huh.
Wow, what a day. So naturally you didn't wash your hair.
Yes.
Wow. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
But I just want you to know you are contributing to toxic Instagram culture because I see it. I go, look, she had a lovely day at the Dodger game. Would have never known.
I had to be truthful. I had to tell my truth on the podcast.
Yeah, no, you gotta, and if you want to watch it, you gotta pay for Patreon.
Yeah.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you have a much, much better excuse for throwing off your hair washing schedule. we usually both wash our hair on Sunday, not like Sunday, like evening-ish, because your hair takes you wake up the next morning and it's still pretty damp. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to start doing that too, because I was trying to do it earlier on Sunday, but it wrecks my whole day because it makes me physically exhausted and I'm just so tired. So I was like, okay, you go to sleep with your hair damp. I'll go to sleep with my hair damp. Like, I'll be fine. And so Sundays is what I've usually been doing, but I just haven't been. It's just been like working to like, what it really has been is Moss and I've been like doing stuff on the weekends, and I usually need like energy to shower because then I need the energy to be depleted. Like I need energy to get depleted, but if I don't have any to start, then I'm like, I can't even do it. And so I've been doing it on Monday for the last couple weeks, and I did it on Monday again. And then the issue with Monday is I have the opposite of a case of the Mondays. I'm like a toxic Monday person where I'm like, Monday, I made my to-do list. Like we're getting stuff done because I've tried to like edit less on weekends, like to like kind of have some sort of schedule. It doesn't always happen. I did edit this weekend, but then I don't shower or get in the shower because I'd like to shower at night when Mats is home, because if something goes wrong, so he's there and I shower with the door open. So when he gets home late and then I'm like, I'm going to shower after dinner. Cause like if I shower when I'm hungry, then I'm definitely gonna faint. And so then my ass was like, I'm gonna get in the shower at 11:45. My ass gets in the shower p.m.
That's what time I did too.
And
we were up.
Yeah, we were having parallel lives. I was watching NCIS, and naturally I'm not in bed until 1:30. And then I am just tossing and turning, trying to fucking fall asleep until about 4:30 a.m.
That's what exact time I went to sleep, because I was like, it's too late now for me to take melatonin.
Yep.
Because then I'll have the spins when I wake up. And so, same story.
It could have been like in a movie, like a split screen where we're just like living the exact same night. That's so funny. And Mats is always just like, and like he can't get like... We had to have a conversation where I was like, you like can't, like when I tell you, I'm like, you need to remind me to shower. I'm like, all you can do is remind me, and you have to do it like completely neutrally. Like you can't make it seem like there's any like thing morally tied if I do or do not, because like I will have a meltdown. And he was like, why the fuck is that? And I was like, I feel like it's an ADHD thing. And I Google, and there's literally these like literal like dissertations on like the moral qualms of showering and ADHD, because it's like, this is so much energy and effort to do, but like if I don't do this, like I'm the worst. And I was like, so there's like, he only has like a small like thing of things that I'm like, that you're allowed to say that will remind me, but not make me feel bad if I don't do it. But that in turn is like, yeah, I'm just going to shower this late at night. And I was like, this has to be the last one. I have to just I have to get back to my Sunday.
Yeah. Mine was, I was working on stuff, but then I was like, I have to eat. But then I was like, because it takes me forever. Once I wash it, I need to twist it. And I was like, so like, I should listen to this review this podcast while I'm twisting, so then I'm like doing work while I'm doing it. But then it just turned into I was too tired to do the work, and I was like, I'm gonna watch TV while I do it, and then I was just up. So.
Yep. So that is the really long disclaimer that you have some two sleep deprived bitches here for you to give you advice. And just know that despite the fact that we are both sleep deprived, it's going to be perfect, amazing, flawless, wonderful advice.
Of course.
Because we never don't deliver. We are constantly doing the most, going above and beyond.
Doing the most with the least.
That's literally my entire brand.
Yeah.
I used to say it was mommy blogger without kids. Doing the most with the least. And a lot of personality. If you are brand new here, welcome to Don't Blame Me. If you want to join our Patreon, you can see Melissa get startled by her own hiccup video version. This is an advice podcast where we give wonderful, amazing, life-changing advice. And you might be wondering, how are these two absolutely stunning visions, supermodels, stunners, business women, ethical billionaires, moguls, sex icons, how are they also fantastic giving advice? And that's because what we lack in credentials, we make up for in
opinions.
This is a call-in advice podcast. So in order for us to give you advice, you have to call in. And if you are in the United States, woo, things are going great here. You can give us a call at 310-694-0976. And international listeners, you can send us an audio message at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. The requirements for both are the same. We ask that you are 18 or over, have your parents' permission. You write down everything before you call us to record. Write down all the details, include your age. It's all anonymous, so no names, but you can give fake names for people if that's helpful. If there's a lot of people in the story, it's also helpful for us because gotta follow along. Include your ages, if it's about a relationship, how long you've been together, all of like the most important details. Then pull out your phone, pull out an hourglass, something else that you use to measure time and time yourself because you only have 3 minutes. So if you're way under 3 minutes, we're like, okay, what other additional details can I include that they might have questions about? Especially if you've listened. I actually honestly would probably recommend listening to a previous like episode, like a call from a previous episode before you call in, whether that's like a perfect, like wonderful call that you should emulate, or you as a listener, what do you wish you had heard? Like what additional details do you want to have? So be the call you would like to see in the world.
I was going to say that.
I think we've said it before.
Have we?
I think so.
Okay.
Because it does make sense. It flowed so perfectly.
Mhm.
If you have called for a previous episode and you have been on an episode and you want to give us an update, we would absolutely love that so much. So you can send us an email at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. The 3-minute mark for the calls as well as the voice memos is strict. You will get cut off in both instances. So make sure it's under 3 minutes. And that's way longer than you think. And it's 3 minutes from, if you're leaving a voicemail, from the beep. And it's 3 minutes from the time you press like record if you are doing a voice memo.
Yep.
We are also available on Patreon if you want to watch the video version of the podcast. We now have 6 tiers on Patreon because we have them for this show and then our other show, but am I wrong? And the tiers are divided so you can watch the video version of this podcast. You can also watch the video version of our other podcast. And we also do live streams twice a month. They're super fun. I feel like that's like one of my favorite things that we have like on our Patreon that we do that we're not like other podcasts that like not everybody else does. And it was something we started during the pandemic and I love it. Like we look forward to it. Like it's fun for us. We're also not the most social people in the pandemic, but we are at our core social people.
Yeah.
So if that describes you, or even if you're more of like a watcher, you don't have to participate, but it's like the perfect thing for extroverts with social anxiety, mental health issues, or compromised immune systems. So you can like have all of that fun, like social aspects that like once you start going a lot, you catch up with people and you're like, oh my gosh, how? Like, oh, you got your hair done. That looks so cute. Like, oh, how did that job interview go? So it's like, not even just, it's not like a first date. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like a hangout.
Yeah. And I feel like we know everybody that are regulars deeply. Now. Yeah.
Like deeply, deeply. And we hear like wonderful, crazy stories. We hear disturbing, disgusting stories about poop. That one I will never be the same.
I have twice forgot about them and then y'all keep bringing them up.
Never forgot.
And I don't want to know.
I drive in the car
in person
and I think about it.
I don't. And I hope that I forget about it again.
Can I just give a tease to the people? Pool, diarrhea, contact lenses. I will never be the same. I will literally never fucking be the same. I have goosebumps.
Your hair is literally standing up on your arm.
Now you can see it. Now, if only it did this when I was trying to fucking shave my legs.
Well, you've got to get, like, scare yourself when you're shaving.
But the issue
legs.
is get a little wet.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
It's like I'm like glowing fur. I'm like a golden retriever. Except I'm bitchier than a golden retriever.
Yeah. I don't think you have golden retriever energy.
First of all, offense to everybody, like but like the whole thing of being like, oh my God, I just want a boyfriend with golden retriever energy.
No, I don't.
Energetic and stupid. Loves you because he's too stupid to do any. Yeah, but it's not in a like a I love you so much way. No offense to golden retrievers. I think I had a friend who had golden retriever, like beautiful, love them, like the sweetest. But like this is not like I want to be chosen. I don't want you to love me because you're too stupid.
Be a cat
to know. No.
See, that's what it sounds like to me.
No, because cats don't like and they choose. They don't choose anything. Cats choose themselves.
The ones that love like to cuddle and shit.
I don't know any cats like to cuddle.
I do.
That's scary.
That cat that I used to live with.
Ooh.
Used to come in my room, get on the bed, make their little
whatever
they do. You know what cats do.
I don't like what people call that.
I don't know what it is.
It's too cutesy for me.
And then like nestle between like.
Is this all cats?
I don't know. I've only lived with one cat.
Okay.
This is the cat that I have
I was about to say, like,
except for these little strays that run around here that
no,
have
they
made
like you
a home.
too. Here's the thing.
And they like me at the other place.
Let's talk
too.
about this. You have achieved universally. I'm saying this now that I've seen one cat interact with you and this one story of the other cat. You universally have achieved like undenying love from the two harshest critics of the entire world.
Yeah.
Children
and cats.
and cats.
Remember my other apartment too? That lady that like lived with me.
Oh, an old. Oh,
no, not lived with me. Sorry, lived in my complex, and she was vegan and wouldn't feed her cat the food that the cat needed. And I didn't know. I thought it was a stray cat because it was just walking around and real skinny. So I started feeding it, and then she was like, "Thank you for you have such a beautiful." She left a note on my door.
So,
you have such a beautiful soul, and I really
old
appreciate
people.
it. But my cat is vegan, and I was like, okay,
that's animal abuse. Hot take. It is.
Yeah.
Wait. So no. You have actually achieved
three
crotchety old people.
Mm-hmm.
Children of like, and like children of like asshole ages.
Mm-hmm.
Like just kids love you.
Yeah.
And cats.
Because I talk to children like they're adults. And that's what they don't want to be talked to like children.
Yeah. I am the opposite. I talk to children unintentionally like a Disney princess. And most of them tend to like it. Kids tend to like me. I will say my nephew, love him to death. He is starting to get into kind of that like little asshole stage where I'm like, please don't throw anything into this thing that I'm telling you not to like throw this thing into. And he just will look at me and like hold his hand out and smile. And I'm like,
yeah, they do that.
No, we're not going to do that, my guy. Or also, he has this thing now where he'll be playing with his toy and he'll just like grab, like he's playing with it and then he will grab it and he look at me and goes, mine, you cannot play with it. And I go, I literally wasn't even reaching for it. And he goes, no, Aunt Megan. And then we'll run to his dad and be like, Aunt Megan can't play with my toy. And I'm like, Aunt Megan was not even trying to play with your toy. Why are you ratting me off? Like I didn't do. Like you narc.
Yep.
He's so cute though.
He liked me the first time I met him.
That is the one that's like the Mott's was like, because like he immediately, there was nobody he's ever done that with before. Like if the grandparents had been there to see that, but like Mott's was there being like, this fucking kid won't even do this to me. And he sees Melissa one time and he's like,
I knew what he was into. And then I waited for my moment.
You secured the ball and then you were like, and he was like, we see each other. It was impressive. He's also at the age now where like he got his first haircut. But his hair's like, growing faster. Oh, I'll show you. It's really cute. And it's getting longer. And I was like the one where I was like, don't cut it. Don't cut it. And his mom was finally like, we're going to cut his hair. And I go, that's fine. Last time I saw him, like, you're right. And she's like, it's just, a little thin. So it's looking a little scraggly. But he's like at that age and he's always like run really hot. But he's like at that age where like his hair's growing really fast, but like it's still like relatively thin because he's a kid.
Baby.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but he like runs around all the time. So like he just always looks like, I look at him and I go, you probably had the greatest day ever. Cause like his hair's kind of like stringy and like sweaty and like his face is all flush and there's dirt everywhere. And like his hair just like, it looks kind of like Dwight from The Office where it's like deep side part. And I'm like, you had a good day, didn't you? Like you really like this is what we should all look like at the end of the day when you have a good day. I'm like, that's so cute. He's adorable.
Yeah, but he's about to get in that three-nager, as they call it.
Yeah. But it is cool as he gets older though, like he will have now ongoing bits that like he starts that like we don't even start that he then is like remembers and is like, oh, this is funny. He knows that like walruses, he like likes to make walrus noises and he's very into walruses right now.
What kind of noises do walruses make?
It's a very specific noise. And I like looked at his mom and she was like, we looked it up. I was like, yeah, because I was like, what is that? And she goes, it is surprisingly accurate. Like that is what they make, the sound they make. It's kind of like a grunt, but it's a little higher.
Try it.
That's not happening.
Why not?
Because I don't even remember it that well. But so he takes his veg. Why don't you just call Taylor up? It's a TikTok audio from Kris Jenner. He takes his veggie sticks, like the veggie straws, and he puts them between his teeth and his top lip and just turns around and will like make walrus noises. And like that, he does that joke to like everybody that he sees because he knows that it kills. And I was like, this is pretty good. I'm impressed by this. It's very cute. And I think he might want a walrus cake for his birthday. He's not sure yet. Yeah. He'll
probably change his mind 3 times.
I know. He told me, he goes, are you having a walrus cake for your birthday? And I was like, no. And he was like, you want a walrus cake for your birthday? And I was like, I don't think I do. And he goes, yeah, You do. And I was like, do you want a walrus cake for your birthday? He goes, yeah. I was like, yeah, those aren't the same thing.
He's got a few more months. We'll see where
I
he
know.
is.
I wonder. I'm glad it's not. Last year I made the starfish cake, but it was between starfish and ceiling fan. And I was like, they kind of look the same. So I think we'll be okay. They do. So I was like, depending on how bad my starfish are, I'll just call them ceiling fans. And like, he'll be like, a ceiling fan cake.
True.
Yeah. Anyways, all of that, our very long intro aside, we have an update. So we are just going to throw over to that.
Well, first, thank you guys so much for your podcast. I love you both. I've been listening for a long time. And you guys like get me through my mornings because I'm in a male-dominated career field.
Oh, God.
So the girl power in the morning is really helpful when I'm getting ready. But yes, I'm from season 10, episode 5. And I am the girl that called in because I dated someone and they made kind of a abusive comment to me. So we broke up. I gave them another chance, but then they've like not respected boundaries. There's some gaslighting and just like love bombing me mostly. So I wanted advice to know if like it was me because of my trauma that was the problem or if it was them as the problem. So going into like what happened since I called, because that was a little bit ago, I was still at school for a long time. And this person continued to love bomb me. They kept pushing my boundaries. They were being really over-sexual when I told them not to be. I kept trying to break it off, but they would call me crying and I would forgive them. And like they would tell me, I'm going to do better. And I tried to believe them. But when I got back from my training, they wanted to do like a weekend getaway with me. And I felt really uncomfortable because I just knew I was going to be put in a weird situation with them. So I'm like, how do I get out of this? Meanwhile, my job offered me to move to a position and another city that I've been trying to move to for a really long time. And they were basically like, you don't even have to interview. Like, they want you there.
Wow.
Like, the position's open. So I was offered that. And it was hard, though, because I've also been wanting to, like, quit my job because of where I work, which if you saw my email, you know where I work currently. And it's not always the healthiest. And they gave me a lot of trauma there. But I thought maybe if, like, I moved to this new place that I've been wanting to live at for a while, like, maybe I could, you know, stick around and it would be good. So I tell this person I'm moving and we're not going to work out and I'm not going to come on this weekend getaway with you. So I kind of had like an out, which was nice. But then they called me crying, like bawling on the phone. And they said to me, like, you don't like your job. Like, what are you doing? And basically, this is what's funny. This was like a few weeks before I heard myself on your podcast and I received your guys' advice, which meant a lot to me. But I told them, like, I set a really firm boundary on the phone. I'm like, I am not quitting my job. Like, I can't. It's not financially responsible to. Like, I need to have like a plan B before I do that. And also, this might be good for me. And this is what they said to me.
Oh, God.
They said, quit your job and move in with me. I would take you homeless. You don't even have to work. Like, and mind you, like, we don't know each other that well. And I kept saying, like, no, I like to be independent. Like, I don't want that for myself. Like, also in my head, I'm like, that's wild, a very wild idea. And so anyway, I kept my boundaries, but I was just like, that is the craziest thing to like ever say to someone. Sorry, not crazy, but wild.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that was when I really like knew how bad this person was and how unhealthy they are. And so I broke it off, and they have been like texting me still. So I probably need to block them, but I have not been responding. And then I heard your podcast and I was like, oh my gosh, like I needed this validation. Like I needed this so bad. It was so helpful for me to finally like not only, you know, break it off, but like hold that.
Yeah.
After I heard what you guys said. So that's my update.
Wow. Well, Melissa just found your email and then showed me. We're obviously not going to say it here, but now I know your work, the field you work in, and that offers a lot of context and explanation. To me, why he probably singled you out and like targeted you for this, because just by some of the nature of some of the relationships, and why those lines might have been blurred for you in combination with like previous relationship trauma, that like it makes a lot of like sense why. Obviously, like regardless of who this happens to, like this is creepy and like horrific and shitty, but I feel like I understand much more the internal questioning of like, is this okay? Is this not? Like, is this normal? Is this not? But wow, that is like the number one abuse tactic, is like isolating and like being like, move in with me even if you don't have a job, so like you have no contact with any, like, and it's financial independence.
Right.
Oh my god, like wow.
I could not believe when they said that. Like I could, but I was like, wow, like now you're using like my trauma that happened to me in my career field, like almost like to just manipulate me at this point. And it just was like, oh, okay, like, well, I get it.
Yeah.
Now.
And it's like, I'm othering myself from that while simultaneously like upholding some of those similar things. Like, it's just like, you're birds of a feather. Like, you can't claim to be like, oh no, you don't do this, that is toxic, that's bad for you. And it's like, but look at you, like you're the epitome of that, and like choosing to not be with you and to like not do that. Like that's, I'm so glad that you like felt validated by what we said and like stood your ground for this, because like that's really, 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 really hard. Like especially when people like they call you crying, and it feels like if you've listened to this podcast for a while, that the value that we have and our audience has on mental health, and a lot of times like narcissist, abusive, manipulative people will play into that like empathetic, like I value your feelings and I value your mental health, and then it becomes like, oh, I'm weaponizing that to then further my like abuse or manipulation, and it's just fucked.
Yeah.
Wow. Have you moved yet?
No, and I'm like, there's so much going on, and I didn't have a long time to make decisions, and now I'll be moving like September 1st.
Wow.
And I'll give more context just because I'm not worried about this person anymore, like hearing this. So I live in Colorado. And then Melissa, I drove through what I think might be your home state, because I think you went and visited there.
Arkansas?
It was Arkansas.
Yeah.
So I drove through there.
Yeah. What part?
Through the whole state. Because I was going down to Mississippi.
Okay. Well, I'm so happy for you that you also have like the boundary that you create, like the universe stepped in and was like, we're going to help you uphold that boundary, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good timing on the podcast. It was so, yeah. And when I heard I forgot because it had been like a while, and like, I didn't expect you to play it because I kind of rambled. And then when I heard my voice, I was like, okay, oh my gosh, that's me. So it was very helpful.
We're so glad and looking forward to happy, healthy, hopefully COVID negative, and you know, good relationships in like a new chapter.
Yeah,
absolutely. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. You guys have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
This is one of like usually the updates that we have. A lot of the time people like to call an update when it's like funny, like uplift, like this is like fun, because some of these things are hard to talk about. But I just want to like thank this caller so much for calling back and giving an update, and this is so good.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm glad that things aligned the way that they did,
and
now you're out of that situation.
Yeah, because sometimes we like creating boundaries is like a huge task in itself, and I don't think that there's anything wrong with, and I think it's like we need other forces, whether that's like people or situations, to help us uphold our boundaries. And so I think that like that's a really, you know, a good thing when that happens. So happy that things are hopefully going to make a big turn, and I hope anyone who related to that call will also be setting those same boundaries.
Same.
Shall we get into The meat and potatoes, what is that saying from? Oh, by the way, another saying I don't understand. The 7 C's. We have more than 7 C's. Was that saying before Pangea? And also, why do not more people have Pangea in jokes? Because I think anytime you bring up Pangea, like, fire. I love Pangea. Like, I just think it's such a, like, it's not a niche reference, but that makes it a niche reference because
who just
we're all a
loves
part of this.
Pangea?
Me.
Why?
Mesopotamia. Pangea.
I love Mesopotamia though. So I
know.
guess
You could bring everything back to like, was this, because everyone's like, oh, before BC or like, what's the other one?
AD.
AD. And I'm like, no. Before Pangea or after Pangea? I think it's mostly because, do you know E-Bombs World? The like, I think that's where it came from.
What about Mayans? How you feel about them?
I like the Mayans. Here's the issue. Mayans came after Mesopotamia for me, and my brain I was capped. I was done. I like achieved pure euphoria from learning about Mesopotamia. That like there were other, the Mayans. I was like, okay, interesting.
I was really into this educational video. I had to look it up to remember the exact name. It is called The Voyage of the Mimi. I don't know if it was probably real old by the time you were in school.
Yeah.
It was already old when I was in school because a young child, Ben Affleck, starred.
Hold up. What? Wait, so this is like what would this be like a substitute teacher movie or is this like a teacher
teacher who didn't want it. This was in science class and for some reason she was teaching us about history and math and I just don't think that she wanted to teach.
Well, so was it elementary school? I told you
No, it was junior high.
Oh, I told you my elementary school teacher, we didn't learn science because she was like, I really don't love it.
No, this was like that was her subject to teach.
Oh,
so
that's
it's
alarming.
This thing called The Voyage of the Mimi, and it depicted this crew exploring the oceans and taking census of the humpback whales.
Is it MIMI?
Yeah.
Oh, because I was kind of loving the idea that it was meme, but you just pronounced it Mimi, and then it could get misconstrued as like this is the journey of a meme.
So they were searching for the lost Mayan cities, and then like taught you how to do the Mayan math. And during the class, I did not understand this Mayan math at all. I was like, I don't.
Where's the
this.
calculator function for Mayan math?
Yeah. So then I used the internet and then found some like lessons on actually how to do it, and then learned it, and then took a test. And then my teacher was like, "We're not going to use this test." And I was like, "You wasted my fucking
bitch.
You wasted my time,
bitch. I took out of office hours to learn this shit.
Yeah.
That's cruel." I remember teachers like you would spend so much; it'd be like such like a useless thing. We had one like that where like the test was to teach us a lesson about something, and then was like, "I'm not going to use this." And I'm like, first of all, I cheated my ass off on this, and I would like some recognition because I know that I put in work so you didn't catch me. And the person I cheated off of, I would like to know if they were right. So if I can know, I could cheat on them in other classes. But also like a lot of it would be memorization. Cause like that's the stuff they're like, well, we're just teaching you that like, no, learning is actually about like ingesting information. I'm like, no, that's not how my brain works. I just need to memorize. What would you do this for?
Yeah.
Why would you do this to me?
Yeah. I think about that teacher all the time. And I want revenge, but I don't remember her name. She's probably dead. You know?
I was gonna say,
because she was old
like,
then.
Yeah, if she's like really not into the science, and she's like, we're gonna be teaching
From
Mayan.
1980. When did this thing come out?
Yeah,
1984 from the Baked Street College of Education.
Yeah, I'm thinking she might.
Yeah,
be dead.
She's probably dead.
I don't remember if we had any educational movie. Spanish class, we would watch a lot of music videos after my favorite Spanish teacher left. Juanes. Fotografia. I can still like sing almost all of it. I remember we watched some Schoolhouse Rock.
Oh, Schoolhouse Rock is a classic. If you didn't watch that in school.
That was like a substitute teacher thing in like
elementary.
Yeah, like elementary or middle school. And then
Junction, what's your function?
Mm-hmm.
A bill on Capitol Hill.
Yep. I don't remember much of I remember them, but I don't remember learning anything from them. And the only other movies I remember watching is every time we had a substitute teacher in high school, always the number one movie they would just turn on, regardless of the subject, PE, history, math, we're going to watch Gandhi. And I was like, you're fucking kidding me. I've seen this movie 1,000 times.
There were two that we would watch. Black Beauty, which is
I've heard about that.
The absolute most boring movie that ever existed. Or two, The Last of the Mohicans, where Daniel Day-Lewis plays an indigenous person.
Uh-oh.
Yep. Also, it's very violent. It's not like we get the library edited version, but it was still some violence in there.
Shall we
take a break?
Yeah.
As a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But at Realm, we also sell some pretty cool merch, and organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. When you think about successful businesses like Aloe or Allbirds or Skims, an often overlooked secret is the business behind the business that makes selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. That's because nobody does selling better than Shopify. It's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret that's definitely worth talking about is that ShopPay boosts conversions up to 50%. That's more happy customers and way more sales going. If you're hoping to grow your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
It's time to update your wardrobe with JCPenney. Fall has arrived, and so have a great range of amazing deals to help you express your style this season. Shop for everyone in the family, from suits, trousers, sweaters, denim, jackets, and more. And finish off your look with your favorite makeup and skincare brands at JCPenney Beauty. Shop in store or online today. JCPenney. Make it count.
This episode is brought to you by Tic Tac. Minty, refreshing, classic. And it's not just the Tic Tac mints. It's the new track by Kenise with beats that'll leave you feeling as refreshed as a Tic Tac and a vibe that'll take you on a ride through 100 layers of flavor. Does it get any fresher than this?
Tic Tac, enjoy the bright side. That 100-layer joyride. Pop one, let's paint the town. Freshman flavors all around. Take a ride on a Tic Tac.
Pick up a pack of Tic Tac mints today.
And we are back from our break. And finally, after so much fanfare, are we ready to get into the calls?
Hi, Meghan and Melisa. I am a 21-year-old female and I use she, her pronouns. I'm calling in about a situation involving college housing and roommates. I'm sure you're thrilled. So here's the situation. Over the last year, until the end of May, I lived with 4 other people. I'm sorry if this gets confusing, but I'll try to explain it as simply as I can. Basically, the 4 of them lived in a rental house for the 2020 to 2021 school year with another roommate, and when she moved out for the 2021 to 2022 school year, they needed someone else to take her spot, which I took. My bedroom was the only one downstairs and had its own bathroom attached, and I paid more for the room, which isn't super important, but I'm just trying to give as much context as I can. The other 4 bedrooms were upstairs. Very quickly, it was clear to me that we had very different expectations for day-to-day life and just decent common respect, and it didn't take long before I became frustrated. They smoked inside of their rooms in the house all day long, would come home at 3 a.m. on school nights, screaming and blasting music, and just didn't really have respect for me or for our living space. All of that isn't completely relevant and is a story for another day, but I think it adds context. All of us moved out at the end of May to move home for the summer, though our lease ended July 31st. When I moved out in May, I deep cleaned my bedroom and bathroom, spackled any chips in the paint, deep cleaned the downstairs common areas, including the kitchen and living room, and made sure all of my belongings were removed. All of them planned and said that they would come back at the end of July to deep clean their rooms and empty their stuff out of the garage and basement. So tell me why on August 1st, a group chat with the 5 of us and the landlord starts being blown up with pictures of their rooms in the garage. The landlord clearly stated in the messages she was also sending that the downstairs bedroom was completely fine, the downstairs bedroom being my bedroom, and that there was nothing more than normal wear and tear. But all of the upstairs bedrooms needed new paint jobs and new rugs. Based on the pictures and videos that the landlord was sending, it was clear that it really was that bad. She also questioned in her messages if people had been smoking inside of the house. There were also piles and piles of trash and belongings left in the basement and garage. The landlord was clearly very upset and let us know that she would need to deduct a good amount from our security deposit to deal with the damages and trash removal. However, we all paid her in one check for monthly rent and security deposit. Because I paid more for my room, I included a larger portion of the rent and security deposit. My problem is that I am worried that my old roommates are going to try and take whatever amount of the security deposit is given back to us and split it 5 ways rather than giving me back my portion first, if there is even that much left, and that they are going to try to fight me for the money. I don't know what to do, but our landlord said she will get back to us with a list of deductions made and the reasons for them by the end of the month, so I am just hoping for your advice on the situation. Thank you so much. I love you guys. Have a good one. Bye.
Oh my God, that's hell.
I had a roommate in college. We lived in a house, and she brought her dog there even though we weren't supposed to have animals in there. And so she kept it hidden upstairs in the bedroom with the door closed, and so the dog would paw at the door, and so then we had carpet in there, and so all the carpet came up and it smelled like dog piss and shit, because she just let the dog pee and shit in her room. And we were only living together during the summer. The plan had been that my sister would move in, Megan would move in, like when the school year started, because that friend actually had graduated and she was just staying in town for the summer, and then she'd move out and then Megan would move in. But it smelled so bad and it was raggedy. And I was like, I have to get out of here. And so we broke the lease. I mean, it's kind of easy in a college town because there's always people moving in and out.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, that's fine. When they did the inspection, whenever I move somewhere, I always hire somebody to come deep clean everything. I think I actually did it then. But also we were there for 3 months. And so I didn't have any wear and tear in there at all. And we got charged for all that mess that was in her room. And she was like, well, like, we have to pay more because you're breaking the lease because you went against the plan. And I just think that we should just like split this. And I was like, the reason I'm moving out is because you did not keep this room the way that it should have been kept, 1. And then 2, this is because of your dog.
Yeah.
And she tried to turn it on me. And I was just like, no, as you can see. And so I laid out everything. I was like, all these charges are coming from your room. And so since they're coming from your room, then you need to pay it. And I need to get part of the deposit back. And so that it was some like arguing and back and forth. But eventually that's just kind of how it ended. And so I feel the same way, since the landlord didn't send pictures of your actual room. Legally, she can go after all of you, because if you're all on the lease, then yes, then it's all of your responsibility for every room. But I would tell the roommates, like, she didn't send pictures back of my room. She
explicitly said that my room was fine.
And then she didn't send pictures back of the common area that I cleaned. What's messed up is y'all's room. So y'all need to, I would ask the landlord how much each of these rooms, like the surcharge is going to be in each of these rooms, and then specifically say I didn't live in those rooms. And I think a lot of landlords, the ones that aren't shitty, are understanding, and they will say like, okay, then I'll just take it from theirs because that's not the room that you lived in. The garage area is probably going to be a little bit more complicated to do because that is a common area, but their actual rooms, I don't think that if your landlady seems like a reasonable person, I think that you can just go directly to her and get it taken.
Yeah, I think that too. I think you can literally just ask her and just be like, hey, so that my room was the one that you pointed out that's not that. Like, these roommates they're awful and they're horrible. And
they were smoking in there?
Yeah, they were. And like, just rat on them. Like, be an informant. Like, take an informant deal and just be like, I would be happy. Like, I would actually phrase it like this. I would be like, so this room was my room, and I know that you had some like questions about like what was going on there. And I want to make sure that like my security deposit, I paid more for my security deposit because I was also paying more in rent because my room was bigger and I really took care of it. And I think that you can see that I really did like care about your place. So I would be happy to like share with you all the information that I know about what was going on in their rooms and like the potential damage that like, because sometimes you can see damage, but you're like, what caused this? That can be helpful. And I would be happy to like let you know that if I can have my security deposit back first, because I don't necessarily trust. You can like literally be like, you saw how they treated that place. Like, I don't trust them to give me that money back. And like, I'm on your side here, but like, help me, I'll help you. And if she is like, no, I'm just going to like treat this as kind of a lump sum, you tell your roommates, I didn't do any of this shit. This was all you. I'm not paying this. I will take you to small claims court. Yeah. Because like those are the options you have.
Go to Judge Judy. She'll give you your money.
She will. She will. You know that she was paying her bailiff $100 million an episode?
That makes sense to me.
But for some reason, he didn't come over to the new one. I don't think Judge Judy, who's insisting that man got $1 million, was like out.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming something.
It was probably because she can't technically have the same exact show. So I wonder if they were like, we can't.
And I wonder if she probably couldn't promise that same pay there. And then it's like, you've been working for so many years. Like, you're probably fine.
He can.
Because they're not even in like LA or anything.
No. Who?
Judge Judy, isn't it?
It records down the street.
Oh, does she live here?
Probably, because they record down. They literally
For some reason, I thought it was someone.
I've seen people lining up outside and there's a little sign.
Oh, fuck, you're right. I have seen that too.
Yeah.
Well, anyways.
Yeah, but it's in syndication so much he doesn't have to
That's
work
what I mean,
another day in his life.
Especially if he doesn't, if he can probably like, if he wants to move out of LA, he can retire.
Yes. I mean, he's got millions upon millions, unless he's just irresponsible with his money. But he's still got millions coming in.
You would hope not.
But he's still got millions coming in.
Exactly. So. Fair. Those are your only two options, honestly. Like you can't. There's no reasoning with your like roommates. It's just like those set firm boundaries, and it is a lot of like. I know this is a very confrontational thing. Like, it's literally being like, hi, landlord, I would like to make an informant deal with you. And like, don't give her any information unless she gives you your security deposit back, because she should do that.
Yeah.
Most laws favor landlords like universally. And I know that you said you all paid it in kind of like a like lump sum and how it's divided up, but that's not necessarily legally binding in that she has to give it back that exact same way.
She doesn't even have to, if it's messed up, she doesn't have to give anything back because she's going to have to use that money to repair. So that's why I would ask how much it is, because if you're getting back like nothing, then
because that's the other
that's the whole point of a security deposit, is so that they can fix up things when it's in excess of the normal wear and tear.
And a security deposit doesn't cover individual rooms. So if they fucked up their rooms, let's say your security deposit was like $5,000, four of them fucked up their rooms $1,000 each, and the garage is fucked up $1,000. Your room not being fucked up doesn't mean that you're going to get money back. Like they'll use that for wherever it needs. So I think like, you're right. Like the first thing being like, could you send me over like an itemized cost breakdown of how much like everything is? Like my room was the really clean one. So, I'm obviously really hoping that my portion that I paid, I'm going to be given back, but I would just like to have an itemized list to see this.
Yeah.
Because to be fair, like maybe it's within like the realm of like there's $150, and for a landlord who's like raking in money for them, that's like nothing. So they're not even going to bother reimbursing someone for that. But if knowing that someone wants to see how the cost is broken down, it's similar to like a hospital bill. You want to see how it's itemized because people tend to be more honest. But the last thing I will say is like having roommates, especially like this age and this many, is always going to be a learning experience. And sometimes learning experiences are expensive. And sometimes they're expensive, like monetarily. Sometimes they're expensive for your mental health. They're expensive in therapy that you have afterwards. But the good thing is they won't happen again. Like after you've been through it, you didn't walk into it knowing that it was going to happen. There's really nothing you can do to prevent shitty people from being shitty people. And you shouldn't treat everyone automatically like they're going to fuck you over. But once you've been fucked over now, you're not going to necessarily be bitter with every roommate that you have, but what you'll probably do is you'll draw up a contract that's not just your lease agreement. That's like, we're paying X amount for this, and this. And for security deposit, this is how much the security deposit is. This is how much each person paid from the security deposit. if one person's room was not affected and is like completely fine, but the rest of the house is trashed, then the roommates owe that person money if they're using it. So like that's the only thing that like you can do like moving forward to new places. But I think in general, and I am not a financial person, but I think of security deposits similarly to how I think about loaning people money. If you are counting and betting on getting your entire security deposit back, don't.
You shouldn't ever think that you're getting it back.
Assume you're never getting any of it back.
Yeah.
Like it shouldn't be the money that you need to finish a move. It shouldn't be the money you need to like put in onto a down payment to like get out of someplace. Like just assume you're not going to get any of it back, because most of the time landlords will just like, they will come up with reasons for why they shouldn't give it any of it back. And then rightfully, you should be getting it all back, but you will have to take them to small claims court or tell them you're going to and spend all of that time and energy. So it is not easy money. Like once it's out of your hands, it's going to be hard to get back no matter what. So moving forward, I know it's hard to say that because like housing is so up in the air right now and like people are so fucked over with that. And so like it is hard to say like don't count on that money, but just if you can create that separation in your mind next time when you're moving into a place, that might help, because I had to do that when I had someone living with me rent-free. It was supposed to be just a friend trying to find a place to like live. And I was like, oh, you can totally like crash with me while you find a place. And then it was like, oh, you came with a moving truck. Like I thought you were like looking for a place to live and then you would move, not like move everything in here. And they were there for like, I think almost a full year and had dogs who wrecked everything, like absolutely everything. They were never home, would always be leaving their dogs there. And I had to pay the security deposit, and my landlord, I like had been with another place, this landlord. So I've been with them for multiple places I've lived. And so they knew like the reasoning behind it, like why I was moving. Cause I was like, I need to get out of here.
They didn't kick them out if they weren't on the lease.
I mean, to be fair, I think I probably could have asked him to do it, but he was like, you're a great tenant. Like, she sucks. And like, I don't want to make it weird for you. But I definitely probably should have asked him to do that. But I did that. That was my excuse when I was like moving upstairs, was that I was like, oh, like because of how it was treated here. Like he said, I can't like have anyone else on the lease. But I had to pay like a ton of money. And even then, like I was given like a bit of it. I was given some of it back because it was a massive security deposit. And I was given some of it back because we had like a good, like longstanding relationship. So if you have that with your landlord, like that is a good thing to foster. And also recognizing and knowing that what the damage someone else did does cost money, and not downplaying that, because that's like incredibly insulting to someone else's property, even though like fuck landlords. But like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just, there's a line you have to toe with being respectful yet firm and compassionate and personable without letting them see that as like, oh, I can completely take advantage of you. Yeah. So I'm sorry, this like really, really, really sucks. And it's like an expensive and like shitty lesson to learn, where it's like, I didn't even necessarily need to learn this lesson, but it's kind of just, be hard pressed to find someone who doesn't have a story like this.
Last thing I'll say is, if you're in a situation like this where you see that they're going to be regularly smoking all the time, I would have a service call.
Oh yeah.
And then the landlord will send someone out, or if your landlord's the person that comes and fixes stuff, then they'll come over and they will smell it. And then it would have nipped it in the bud earlier.
Yeah. It's okay to rat on your roommates when your dollar is like also on the line.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good point too.
All right. Next call.
Hi, Melissa and Megan. I, 30, she, her, have a friend. Let's call her Sarah, 28, she, her. Sarah and I worked together for the last 6 months, but have known each other for 9 years after working together at a previous job for 7 years. Sarah's in a relationship with someone called Alice, 26, she, her. They've had an up and down relationship. They started out casually, went serious very fast, and became quite toxic for one another. This included fights almost every other day, extreme jealousy at gatherings, lack of trust when the other isn't responding, and more. They broke up about 6 months into their relationship. They stayed separated for about a month, still in contact, but very negative contact. Drunk calls, I hate you, I hope we never talk again, things like this. They started hanging out again for the last 2 months, Sarah's words. Sarah has been quite distant and cold from myself and many other mutual friends and colleagues the last 2 months. Many of us have tried to check in with her, but only got one-sentence responses or just a thanks. We figured she was going through a rough patch and gave her a space, knowing she would reconnect when she had the ability to do so. About a month ago, Sarah asked me a question about a mutual friend. I asked her, have you asked them? As it wasn't my info to share. Sarah flipped out on me and said her being mad had nothing to do with me not sharing the info about the mutual friend, but me making her feel like an idiot when she asked me questions. I apologized that I made her feel that way, asked what I could do, or if there was an example that she could give so I could understand how I can change to stop her feeling that way. She blew me off, said we were totally fine, it wasn't an issue, not to worry about it. I asked her once more that I would like to talk about it and try and fix this issue as our relationship is important to me, but no response. 3 days ago, she is suddenly acting like herself. Coldness gone, not just to me, but to friends and colleagues too. I'm getting married in 3 months and I'm sending out invites at the moment. Sarah received a save the date 6 months ago. When I mentioned this to a group of friends, including Sarah, she pulled me aside and goes, I've been meaning to ask, can Alice come along? I shared with her I wasn't sure, I needed to talk to my partner, and that I was hesitant due to the toxicity and drama their relationship usually has brought to events in the past. Sarah shared she understood me feeling that way, and they were doing really well. They have lots of events coming up together, and it's not like it was before. I haven't seen them together since they got back together, so I'm not sure if this is true and if I can trust what she says. Plus, she's barely spoken to me for the last month at this point. For context, everyone else has their partner invited to the wedding, provided me and my fiancé know them, which is the case for Sarah and Alice. I'm worried if I say no, it'll affect our friendship, which is already slightly rocky due to her flipping out on me a month ago. And if I say yes, it might bring unwanted drama to my wedding. So do I invite her partner? Is she in the wrong for even asking me to invite her? Do I bring up the past month of silence before making a decision, or do I let this go? I really don't know what to do. I feel really stuck. Please help. Thank you. Bye.
I said don't invite either of them.
I mean, yeah. You just I don't think it's rude of her to ask. I think it's I don't think it's rude of her to ask. I think it's a little delusional in the sense that if this has been a fighting at events and that kind of thing, I just think it's a little I don't think it's rude because everyone else has their partner there, but it is a little do you have selective amnesia for how your relationship has been in public and what?
But also you're barely talking to her as it is.
That's what I mean. Yeah. It's just kind of that. It's just odd. The thing is that you're right in the sense that okay, if I don't invite her, will that affect our friendship? Yes. If I do invite her, will that cause drama? Yes. Both of those things are true. And so you just have to decide what is the reality that you can live with and what will be less I think in making any decision, I'm I have to value what is going to be not only what will make me feel better in the moment, but I more likely will value what makes me feel better in a month's time and then a year's time and then a couple years after that. I need to the decisions I'm not making for momentary satisfaction or happiness, thinking it through. So you don't invite her, it affects your friendship. To be fair, this friendship seems like it's already been affected.
Exactly.
You do invite her, there's potentially drama, and then if there's drama, your friendship is affected and you're no longer friends. So it does kind of seem like the same means to an end. The only thing I will say is there's always drama at a wedding, and most of the time, the people getting married are the people who do not know about it. So you can be shielded and protected from the majority of the drama at your wedding, but then you have to have a conversation with your friends of being hey, if drama happens here, I don't want to hear anything about it. I don't want to blah, 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 blah. But do you want this friendship to go out with a bang? Or do you want it to not? Because I think inevitably it's probably going to end if you don't invite her. But then I also think if you do, and shit
her
goes,
as in the girlfriend or her as in the friend?
The girlfriend. I think your friendship will end in that moment if you don't invite her, because I don't think she'll probably come to the wedding, and I think it'll be bad. And even if she comes solo, might be so mad and then create solo drama because acting out because didn't get invited. Or you do invite them and let's say it all goes perfectly well and it's amazing and great. What's the risk you're willing to take on it?
Here's my thing. At your wedding, you should have people there that you want there and are fighting for you, not people that are showing up to show out. And I feel like this person wants to show up with their +1 to show out because that's all that they've been doing. So you had already sent out the invitations and the save the date 6 months ago. There was no, if you didn't put a +1 on there, then you can say this is not included in the initial head count. Maybe if someone drops out, I might be able to invite your whatever, current girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, whatever y'all are right now. But it could be where by the time your wedding rolls around, they're not together anymore because they are toxic and don't need there. But I personally wouldn't want that toxicity that I know and I can prevent at my wedding.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think also because this is a toxic relationship, I don't think that, like you said, like wedding comes around and like they're not in a good place, but she's already invited her girlfriend and her girlfriend's like, no, I'm going to come. And it's like, well, no, I don't want to put my friend, if you're finally able to get out of this toxic relationship, I don't want to put you in a position where you feel like you don't have any agency in this. So like, I agree. I think it's just, hey, we did the head count. I looked over all of the budgets and like how weddings go, like we invited more people than we assumed that less people are going to RSVP. We actually had more people RSVP. You can like fudge and lie. Just like we've already extended everything and like we just like don't have any more room. Like I'm totally sorry. And then I would say I completely understand if it's uncomfortable for you to be at a wedding where like, and it seems like what you've said, like all of your other friends like are bringing a +1 because they know each other. Like, you know, both of them. And say like, if you were like, assuming she's the only person at the table who doesn't have a +1, I know that like, I can totally see how if you were the only person who doesn't have like a partner there, that would feel uncomfortable. So like if you want to resend, like retract your RSVP and not come, like I completely get that. I don't want you to suffer through like the evening because like you're not going to have a good time. I don't want that at all. If this had been, and like just lying, like if circumstances had been different and like, you know, could have had a +1, like that would have changed, but just know that I can't give her a +1. But no hard feelings if that means you don't want to come.
Yeah.
And then you have to mean that though.
Yep. But also y'all aren't even friends at this point.
No. And your coworkers. And I think that there's just like something that gets a little bit dicey, especially being so invested in your coworkers, like personal lives and like their toxic relationships. I think like it's good to be like wary of it, but I don't know, that kind of drama that's not even workplace related drama then like infiltrates into like your workplace. And like it can just kind of create not the greatest environment. And it just feels like you might be a little too intertwined and your friend, like the whole thing might be just a little too intertwined. But I don't know. I always think if you think a friendship is going to end because you don't invite them to your wedding, if for like a very legitimate reason, you don't uninvite someone to your wedding without having a huge reason. Or I think if you're having a small ass wedding and you're like, I can't invite someone, and that person's like, okay, we're not friends anymore. Like that friendship was always going to end.
Yep.
It just needed that little bit of like the fire under its ass that was inevitably going to come after years, but it just happened to be a little bit quicker. Yeah, don't invite people to your wedding that you don't like.
Yeah. All right, let's take a break.
Woo!
The #1 selling product of its kind with over 20 years of research and innovation. Botox Cosmetic, out of botulinum toxin A, is a prescription medicine used to temporarily make moderate to severe frown lines, crow's feet, and forehead lines look better in adults.
Effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness may be a sign of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Don't receive Botox Cosmetic if you have a skin infection. Side effects may include allergic reactions, injection site pain, headache, eyebrow and eyelid drooping, and eyelid swelling. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Tell your doctor about medical history, muscle or nerve conditions including ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects. For full safety information, visit BotoxCosmetic.com or call 877-351-0300.
See for yourself at BotoxCosmetic.com.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. You might say all kinds of stuff when things go wrong, but these are the words you really need to remember. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. They've got options to fit your unique insurance needs, meaning you can talk to your agent to choose the coverage you need. Have coverage options to protect the things you value most. File a claim right on the State Farm mobile app and even reach a real person when you need to talk to someone. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
This episode is brought to you by WeI'll, the first over-the-counter daily birth control pill available in the U.S. WeI'll is FDA approved, full prescription strength, and estrogen-free. Plus, there's no prescription needed. Finally, the days of needing a prescription for birth control are over. WeI'll is available online and at most major retailers. Take control of your health and reproductive journey with WeI'll. Birth control in your control. Use code BIRTHCONTROL for 25% off your first month of WeI'll at WeI'll.com.
Back again. Roll the tapes.
Hi, Meghan and Melisa. First of all, I've been listening to the podcast since episode 1, and it is one of my favorite things about Mondays. Anyway, so the advice that I need has to do with my ex-boyfriend. So this past weekend, I was in Las Vegas, had my phone, 5G the whole time. We were good. Woke up Sunday morning to no service. I thought it was weird. It happened before. iPhones are kind of crazy. So I, didn't really know what was going on. Drive a bunch of hours home. By the time I get home, it's still going on. So I have to go to the cell phone store, and they were still open, thankfully. Probably should have mentioned I was still on my ex-boyfriend's cell phone plan. Now, I know that sounds kind of crazy. We've been broken up for almost 9 months, but we did talk about it. He was actually the one who insisted on me keeping my phone because it was a gift for my college graduation. So he had insisted on me keeping it. He wanted to pay it off, and I was just paying him monthly for the service, which I had been doing. So when I go to AT&T to ask them why my phone isn't working, they told me that I had been taken off his plan. So my question is, I ended up I couldn't even keep my previous phone or phone number that was under his plan because I wasn't like an authorized user on it. So I had to get my new number, my new phone, everything that day. So I'm at the point where I have this phone that is the one that's on his plan. I don't know if it's paid off. I don't know what's up with it. Either way, I didn't pay for it, so I don't really feel right keeping it, and I don't need to keep it. So we do still live in the same town, and I'm trying to decide, do I ship the phone back to him, maybe put a little handwritten note like, hey, AT&T told me that I was taken off your plan. Here's the phone. If that is what happened, now AT&T couldn't confirm it because they couldn't go into his profile without him there. But, they're pretty sure that's what happened. So do I do that? Do I send the phone with no note? I thought about texting him or emailing him, but then I'm like, do I want him to have my new phone number if that is what happened? Because it's pretty shady. Keep in mind, we had just talked 2 months ago about the whole situation of him wanting me to keep the phone. I told him I'd probably go on my own plan at the end of this year, and if there was a balance remaining, I would pay it, things like that. So we totally had like a non-messy breakup. It really wasn't a big deal. So yeah, what would you guys do in this situation? I'm just trying to figure out what I should do. I'm 24, she, her. He is, 26 or 27, he, him. Yeah, would love to hear your guys' advice because I'm not really sure what to do.
I'm so sorry. You didn't call him immediately when you got to AT&T? To pull up the contact from your phone and be like, hi, can I use the landline or some other phone here?
Because if it was that amicable of a separation, then you calling him wouldn't have been that big of a deal.
Like, it would have been an accident. Like, I feel like you're operating on this, that this was, like, obviously an intentional
you're really...
thing.
Seems like something's missing from this story, but it was a gift. I would keep it or sell it.
Oh, without a doubt. Do not give the phone
gift
back.
You don't give back gifts. That's bad luck. I don't know if it's bad luck, but it seems like bad luck. But this whole situation, I think he got a girlfriend.
Me too.
And girlfriend saw that old girlfriend was still on the phone bill and was like, what the fuck is this? And then he had to kick you off real quick.
I was going to say, you know what my other theory was?
Yeah.
His parents pay for his credit card bill. And they were like, what is
as a 27-year-old
charge for?
You're right.
Are you kidding?
You're right.
I'm like, if it's that, and like they were like, what is this charge for?
Mm-hmm.
Huh? Because it's easy to kind of like mask that when you're on a plan with him and it's like, oh, your monthly is increasing, but this is already a bill that we're paying.
Right.
And then maybe it was like we're starting to see maybe he got a new phone or a new upgrade and they're like actually paying attention to the cost breakdown. But I think it is either he was not paying his own credit card bills or got a girlfriend.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, the thing I will say though is you've already bought a new phone, you got a new number and everything. So at this point, I don't actually think there's any reason in contacting him and being like, hey, like, I think what you should have done, if we could go back in time, I would go back in time and be like, hey, did something happen? Because it literally could have been that his credit card expired and he like got a new credit card and like the automatic payment wasn't on that, or like, and he auto did his thing. Like it could have been like many flukes.
Said that he took her off the plane.
But they said they couldn't confirm it.
But they can't. The thing is they can see it. They just couldn't tell her exactly what happened. So like they knew if the account was still active, they knew they just couldn't tell her.
The tea and like the messy shit that like AT&T and like Verizon workers have. And they're like, sorry, ma'am, your husband's mistress is also on this phone plan. I mean, I think that there's also a reason why you didn't think it was a mix-up. Like, why you just bought a new phone and, like, you didn't call him. Like,
I think there's something missing from this little story here.
Maybe she doesn't even know.
Maybe.
Yeah. So, I mean, don't keep the phone. It was a gift. Like,
but if they ended amicably, like, she doesn't want him to have her new number and...
because you're feeling offended.
But she was too, like, I don't know, something to not call him and say what's up.
I get it in the sense that, like, no matter how amicably I ended, if an AT&T worker told me, like, oh, I think they took you off of this, like, that is, like, a big move.
A slap in the face.
Yeah, and in the sense that of being like, well, I don't want to call you to look like I need you. Like, fuck you. Like, I can do this all on my own. Like, I'm going to pretend like this isn't even on my radar. Like, this doesn't even affect me in that sense. Like, I get that part of it. But this phone was a gift. And I don't know. You said that you talked 2 months ago. I don't know if you talked in text messages or if it was on the phone. If it's in text messages, you have in writing that this phone was a gift. You know, unless he like starts trying to like sue you for the phone, like give the phone back. But I would just keep the phone. It's still, you said, under his family plan. So like the service stopped working. But is it under your own iCloud?
She said it's paid off.
No, she's not sure if it's paid off.
Oh, well.
My unethical advice is if it's on your iCloud still, I would just like wipe it.
Yeah. Take the SIM card out if it has a SIM card.
Yeah. And then this is like so unethical. If you're going to sell the iPhone, I would sell it on Facebook Marketplace and I would do it for cash and I would delete the listing afterwards and do it all from like a private browser. So it can't be traced back to you. But that
can still be
unethical. No, and there is a large risk there. But like if you want to sell it, like your options are either keeping it, selling it, or giving it back to him. If you do want to sell it, there is a risk there because it is tied to it's a lease. Like it's a lease and a contract to him.
That's why I think that the phone's paid off because they would have asked for the phone back. They just couldn't say
oh
it
my God.
because they couldn't say it. But the phone's paid off because they would have asked for it back.
Cracked the code. You're right, because it's like a lease on a car. And so if they wouldn't let you drive off the lot with the car if it wasn't paid off. Oh. Okay, so you don't have to be sketchy about selling it. You can just sell it. I might, in general, still do it for cash and Facebook Marketplace and delete the listing afterwards. But still, like, you're right. It hasn't paid off. But no, it was a gift.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was a fuck up, he would have known because his bill would have gone down monthly. And if he then is like, oh, where's this phone? I want it back. And it's like, well, you intentionally took this off here.
And I've been paying the bill on it every month.
Yeah. And like you stopped paying him for the bill. So like this feels all like a passive aggressive means of communication.
Yeah.
And if he wants it back, that's his bad.
Yep.
Can you imagine though waking up Sunday morning, Vegas?
In Vegas?
Phone doesn't work and then you have to drive all the way back? I'm assuming someone else drove.
I would have stopped in Vegas at the AT&T in Vegas before.
Me too. But I'm assuming that you were with somebody who had a phone that worked.
Yeah, but that's still too scary because Vegas.
That's a
when you wake up from Vegas.
It's like you're waking out of you 6 feet
I
under.
woke
I'm
up.
taking dirt out of my eyes.
I woke up on Saturday when all my lights are flashing.
Do you know the amount of times that I've gone to Vegas where like I didn't even go to sleep. And I'm a very strict person about DDs, and we had a DD who had been like sleeping, and I just naturally, it's Vegas, so I'm wired, did not go to bed. And I like look over at them, and they're like, you know, basically like kind of awake still.
Were you like 6 deep in a room too?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I look over at one of my friends, and she probably like slept for like 3 or 4 hours or something, but like, you know, didn't drink, was sober, and does not need a lot of sleep. And I like look over, my eyes are open, and I'm like, do you want to leave now? It's like 4:30 in the morning, maybe 5 a.m. And she was like, yeah, let's go. And we just
traffic is
Yep.
cleared out.
Coasted.
Best time to move. Yep.
Coasted. And then Lily was in a car like so much later.
I can't even imagine. All right, it's time for Don't Blame Them.
There we go. Coco, don't cut that out.
Why would you cut it out?
That's exactly what I meant to say. This is Don't Blame Them. This is where a listener will call in with their own advice pertaining to a call that we had on a previous episode. So maybe they have personal experience, they have some additional insight, whether it's, you know, again, personal or through their work, or if they've, you get what I'm saying.
They have opinions.
They have opinions.
Hi, Meghan and Melisa. I am just calling in for a Don't Blame Them. This is for the episode that aired a couple of weeks ago titled Boyfriend Won't Get High School Diploma. This is for the caller who is moving and didn't feel supported by her friend in the move. So I think a big issue here that could be addressed is feelings of FOMO or jealousy on the friend's part, because there's this idea that the caller could be having a lot of new or more exciting quote-unquote experiences in her new city, and the friend might feel like she's going to miss out and have the less cool experience. So I think something that would be a good idea here is making a plan that involves an activity that celebrates both sides of this. So, for example, me and my 2 best friends from college are all splitting up for this next year. 2 of us have moved out of our college town, and 1 of us is staying there. So we've discussed a couple of options to stay in touch and kind of engage everybody. So the friend that's staying in the college town suggested we start a shared journal that gets mailed between the 3 of us, and each time we receive it, we add a little bit to it each time, and you get to just share whatever you're feeling, make an art piece, just add to it, and send it on to the next friend. In our case, it's a triangle, but potentially for the caller, it would just be back and forth. And we also thought of the idea of creating one of those group Instagram accounts where it's just kind of like a shared photo album highlight reel for everybody, and everybody gets to contribute to it. We like these because they include everybody's experiences, so it's not necessarily like one person is having the like fun, new, and different experience. Everybody is engaging, and regardless of whether they moved or have the same experiences they were before, they still get to celebrate those in the same way. So I think that something like this could be helpful for the caller if she does want to maintain this friendship and keep engaged with the friend. If you don't want to maintain the friendship, moving is a great way to ghost people. But if you do, I recommend an activity like this where it allows her to feel like she gets to share some of her own experiences, because you don't want the conversation to be dominated by everything that you are feeling that is new and fresh and exciting. All right. Hope that helps. Thank you.
Is that how those traveling pants worked?
I was literally about to be like, or you could buy a pair of jeans that fits everybody and you pass them around. And can we also just talk about like the different, like, you've never seen it, but the coming of age of like some of them? Like, first of all, one person like fucks for the first time, and like someone else is like, oh yeah, like I'm in Greece. And other people are like, yeah, I'm in like a film camp. Like, it's just one of those things that like, I don't know. I don't feel like the exciting experiences that happened in the pants were evenly spread out. And I feel like if
Wait,
the pants
they fucked in the pants?
No, but like,
oh,
you know, the pants were taken off to fuck.
That's disgusting.
This is what I'm saying though. But those pants,
I hate these pants.
If those pants could talk, those pants could talk,
crusty as fuck.
Those pants would be like, I am tired.
Because they got,
put me away.
Think about how your friend got wet in those pants. When
Exactly.
The first time they fucked.
And you mean to tell me I got to go play soccer in these pants? I got to go to film class in these pants? What the fuck did Carmen do in the movie? I like cannot remember. So Lena went to Greece. Also, these pants are like, someone washed me. Like, I am salty. Like, I've been everywhere, and who's paying for the postage of this? Like, these pants are tired. These pants are working a full-time job. Maybe that's like what we need to do is like the next for iteration of Sister of the Traveling Pants is from the pants perspective. Oh, that's gross.
I didn't even know who all was in this movie. Interesting.
Carmen.
We've got America.
I know. She
the
plays
Great.
Carmen.
We've got that girl from that show you watch, right? That's her.
What? Yeah. Oh, no, wait. Tibby doesn't go to film
Rory.
school in the first one.
Then we've got the original Emily Quartermain from General Hospital. And then Blake Lively.
Yeah. No, there's like, first of all, there's sex in these pants. You're with someone when someone dies. Like, it's
No.
just like a lot. What is
No.
Carmen? Carmen's visiting her father in South Carolina. Tibby's staying home. Film school's not the first one. Okay. Yeah, Tibby's is like sad. Like, so you mean to tell me that Lena gets to go to Greece and Tibby meets a child with cancer? And like the pants are like, cut Tibby a break.
Who's Tibby?
Amber Tamblyn.
Original Emily Quartermain.
Oh, there we go. So then Carmen. Yeah, Carmen has another. They're blonde, waspy, and they emotionally neglect her because she's overweight. And these are the terms there: overweight and Puerto Rican. Oh my God. And they're getting married. And like, it's just, yeah, she has a traumatic summer. I mean, Bridget also has, I'm not going to lie, Bridget also has like from the outside, a wonderful, amazing experience. But like, girl's got some demons. She's dealing with some shit. Lena literally got to have the summer of everyone's lives, and they're all just there being like, these are my trauma pants. And she's like, these are my Grease pants. Anyways, that is it for our episode. We hope you enjoyed. Please give us a call. Leave some voicemails. We are not to sound like we are scrounging and scraping to get calls on this show. We're not. We are just trying to have
quality.
I wasn't going to say that. That's
what I'm going to say.
I mean, she said the quiet part out loud. I was going to say we want to make sure that they are different than other calls we've had. So we've had a lot, like, let me give an example. It's people who are like losing a spark in a relationship and then breaking up and then getting back together. Do we give it a second try? Like, we've done so many of those. I think it's even one of the titles of like an episode. So we don't want to do, something like that. Some things that we're like really like not qualified for, anything that has to do with like suicidal ideation. Like, those are things that we don't have like I can speak for myself.
I don't have the bandwidth.
I don't have the emotional bandwidth to deal with it, but I also don't have like the resources to be able to respond in a way that is helpful to you and not harmful to me.
Yeah.
And Yeah.
And so please don't send that kind of stuff to us.
Yeah. If you're in our Facebook group, we have like a very like specific format about how trigger warnings are like used. And also trigger warnings they're not like a catch-all for like just saying anything. And we've had calls on the podcast that like we've issued trigger warnings. Callers have issued trigger warnings. It's important to state what the trigger warning is for. But then also knowing that like if your entire call is about something like really, really, really traumatic and intense, and it's something that you don't feel comfortable talking to your therapist about, we're not the right people.
No, we're
and
not
like
equipped for that. And we both have our own things going on, and it's a lot to take on.
Yeah. And we're just not qualified to take it on. And like why therapists are qualified to take it on. Some therapists suck, but like why they're qualified to take it on is because they can deliver like the resources to you. They actually have like a code of ethics. So like if you are in danger, they have resources of how they can help you. But then they also go through immense amounts of schooling to like not take it on personally. So that's something that we have. And just knowing that like we want to address like real life things on the show, but also recognizing if this wasn't your call, if you wouldn't listen to it because it would be triggering, that is something we want to like keep in mind for the audience as well. We've had calls again where people have been like, how I'm behaving in this relationship is because like I have a past traumatic thing that happened in my life. And that is like the most that it gets into those things. But other than that, we're so happy that you feel like this podcast is a safe place. And like to be fair, like our voicemail, like if you're going to call in for that, like just don't take it personally that we're not including that. Like if it's cathartic for you to call in, like call in, but like just know that we can't, if you're calling in with something really traumatic and we're not answering on the podcast, please just reach out to somebody who's more qualified, because we're not. And like, I don't want you to wait around hoping and thinking that we're going to be able to address it. We're not. And we can't make it better, but we can always inadvertently accidentally make it worse. And that's never the goal, especially with like having a platform like this. So all that being said, we want to have calls that are a mix of like, you know, serious things that people are going through, like funny things, lighthearted things. But the podcast also isn't like so immediately you call and you're getting this advice on here. And like, this is happening in like a really like quick kind of turnaround sort of way. That it's also important that we're not for something serious, we're not your first call and your only call.
Yeah.
You know? So what happened to fucking in a barn? What happened to any of that stuff? So give us a call.
Ring-a-ding-ding.
And leave a review if you haven't yet. Or if you have already, go update your review. Tell your friends to listen. Recommend an episode to your friend. Recommend an episode to a sibling, a romantic partner, a sexual partner. Recommend the podcast to your enemy. Maybe you'll become friends. Recommend this podcast to your TikTok audience. Recommend this podcast to your teacher.
Thank you for all that, but there's no new one.
To your pets. And we will see you all next time.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Don't Blame Me is a production by me. Executive produced by Melissa DeMonts and Diamond Imprint Productions. Edited by Coco Lawrence. Post-production sound by Chris Henry. Production assistance by Melanie D. Watson. Music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso.
Listening to a podcast should be time well spent, and I promise it will be if you'll give this podcast a try. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in every episode, I talk with leading experts on topics I know you will find fascinating. From why people can't keep secrets, what your favorite music says about you, why your pet acts in strange ways, and so much more. Something You Should Know is designed to give you information you can use in your life and give you great intel that you can share with others. I'm told it's a binge-worthy podcast, and with over 1,000 episodes, there's a lot to binge on. Something You Should Know has been ranked in the top of the Apple Podcast charts consistently for a long time. I know you're going to like this. I just need to get you to try it. Something You Should Know. It's available wherever you listen to podcasts.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Buntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I study the secrets of the divine plagues and uncover the blasphemous truth that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The heresies of Radolf Buntwine, wherever podcasts are available.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey, y'all. I'm JJ.
Hey, guys. It's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests who share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.